The Lister D-type vintage farm engine is one of the most successful and iconic stationary engines ever produced. Serving as the workhorse of the British countryside for over 60 years, it became a symbol of reliable British engineering due to its extreme durability and simple design. The first Lister D engine was assembled in 1926. It was designed as a compact yet rugged alternative to larger, more expensive engines common at the time. The Lister D was a particular favourite of farmsteads across the UK and into the Commonwealth. The Lister D became the default prime mover of multiple agricultural machines and processes, increasing production and assisting with farm labour, and it was soon being used to power new and older farm machinery previously driven by manpower or horsepower. They were used to drive equipment such as hay bale elevators, small threshing machines, cattle feed production machines, water pumps for irrigation, and of course sheep shearing equipment. The Lister sheep shearing set was said to have shorn 3/4 of all the world's sheep at the time. They were also commonly used in milking plants across the dairy farms of the UK, as Lister also made cream separators, milk coolers and other dairy production equipment, all of which were often driven by the Lister D engine. The Lister D type engine, launched by R.A. Lister & Co. in 1926, was a highly successful, rugged, compact, hopper-cooled stationary engine, built at the Dursley and Wroughton factories in Gloucestershire, England. Powered by petrol and or kerosene and available in 1.5, 2 and 2.5 horsepower versions, it was designed for daily tasks like water pumping and small-scale electrical generation in rural areas before widespread mains electricity became available.
And that consequently this country is at war with Germany.
In World War II, the D-type engine also played an essential part of the war effort. Lister engines were used by the British Armed Forces for draining trenches, generating power for lighting, in both the base camps, the tunnels and the dugouts, and for general power such as radio communication hubs. Back home, the generator sets were used to provide the power for searchlights to identify the enemy aircraft of the Luftwaffe, so that the ground gunners could see their targets. The Lister factories were also retooled for the war effort, manufacturing shell casings and munitions for use at home and on the front lines.
The designated head of the German state signed the act of unconditional surrender of all German land, sea and air forces in Europe.
After the war was over, Britain needed to recover and to be rebuilt. On building sites across the land, the familiar thump, thump, thump of the Lister D engine could be heard, driving cement mixers and dumper trucks, providing the bricks and mortar to once again rebuild the national pride of Great Britain. The Lister D is more than just an engine. It's a piece of British industrial and agricultural history, powering farms, supporting wartime efforts, rebuilding Britain, and now cherished by vintage engine enthusiasts worldwide, introducing new generations of people to the historic value of stationary engines and their industrial heritage. 2026 is the centenary of the Lister D engine, and with special events and engine rallies taking place around the country, enthusiasm for the Lister D engine is now stronger than ever. Early models had the fuel tank midway up the engine, and it later moved to the top. Chain drive magnetos replaced shaft-driven ones in the early 1930s, and some variations included radiator cooling, but the basic engine design has changed very little since it was introduced over 100 years ago. Production finally ceased in 1964 after a total run of over 250,000 D-type engines. Its retirement was not due to failure, but due to the arrival of more advanced electrical motors and machines.
The train now standing at platform 3 is the 0722 Southern service to London Victoria.
Which, sadly, much like its predecessor the Horse, the Lister D-type engine was retired from duties. The farmyards and fields of Great Britain have become quieter now in the absence of that endearing thump, thump, thump sound that was always once so familiar. Many of these once essential engines were abandoned in barns and outhouses on every farm in the land, slowly rusting away in a dark, damp corner of a barn, just waiting to be rediscovered. If you ever do discover a barn-find engine, unloved for many years, approach it slowly so as not to startle it. Sit quietly beside it, and, if you listen very carefully, you may just hear it beginning to remember. Well, I do hope you enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed making it and researching some of the history of the Lister D engine, and of course with its 100-year celebrations coming up all around the country throughout this year 2026, do spend a moment reflecting on the history of the Lister D and what it's done for Great Britain over the time of its existence. And so, for now, thanks for watching.